Hello, sixth graders. This is Mr. Shear, and today's topic is ratio tables. This is Chapter 1, Lesson 4, so it's our fourth concept this year. And as just a reminder, are you tired of hearing this yet? There are 12 chapters in this book. Chapter 1 has 7 lessons in it, so we're just over halfway through the first of 12 chapters. But first, I wanted to talk a minute about grading because you're starting to get your first assignments back from me. So I want to go over how grading looks on a typical assignment. All of your math assignments, not tests, but all your math assignments are worth 0, 1, or 2 points. You get 2 points if you get 70% and above for your answers. So if you do over 70% correct, you just get the full 100%, 2 out of 2 points in the gradebook. Conversely, if you turn it in, but you got under 70%, which would be a D or an F score in a typical grading system, you get 1 point. And if you don't turn it in, or you turned in a blank answer sheet, 0 points. I want to let you know that I do grade a lot, but I can't grade everything. So if I return something to you, it'll have a grade. If I don't return it, it's something that I wanted you to practice, but it's not necessarily graded. The best place to check your grades, you turn things in, and we use Google Classroom, and I return things with comments in Google Classroom. I tell you your grade in Google Classroom on a specific assignment, but Skyward. Skyward is the place where the grade book matters. So I checked Skyward all the time. If I was in middle school right now, I would check it daily, every other day. And what you want to look for is any missing assignments or any assignments that you can correct. But check Skyward. You can correct work in this class up until the test. So when we take our Chapter 1 test, Chapter 1 is done. No more late or corrected work after Chapter 1. Same thing when we get into Chapter 2. You can keep correcting your assignments until we take the Chapter 2 test. I will highlight in orange any problem that you missed on an assignment. So if this is your assignment, this person missed number 9. So if it's not highlighted, it means you got it correct. Great job. If you miss a question, it'll be highlighted for you. I also typically add a private comment to you that I would ask you to read. And the private comment should show up on the right-hand side of your Google Doc. I'll put something in there. Typically, it's if I think you should correct it, or if I think you might need to contact me for help, or maybe if you had the right idea, but you made one simple mistake. But private comments vary depending on what you turn in. I want to ask you that when you'll get an opportunity when you have a private comment where you can add your own private comment and response. And I want to tell you guys that if you do that, I don't always see it. I have to click on the Google Doc to actually see what you write me. So I would avoid private comments to me on your Google Docs. I'll say that again. I would avoid private comments to me on your Google Doc, especially if it's for something that you need help on or it's something important that you would like a response from me. If you want a response from me on any assignment, if you need help, the best way to contact me is via email. I have the notifications set in Google Classroom. I try not to blow up your email with notifications, but what that means is I don't always get emails when you make a private comment. So email me if there's anything you need help on or you need help correcting an assignment that's under 70%. To correct work, you just fix the highlighted questions and resubmit. And a lot of you guys keep turning stuff in because it gets returned to you. And I know parents have had this question too. A lot of times when teachers return things to you, it's just like passing back papers. We're just giving you back your work. You don't have to keep turning it in. So if you're happy with your grade, check Skyward. And if Skyward says you have 2 out of 2 points, you got 100% on it, you don't need to turn it in. It's good. I'm just returning it to you so you can see how you did. Okay? Lastly, be patient with me. on grading, please. I am really slow on grading this year, and I am typically somebody who prides myself on being quick on grading. But because I don't have a physical paper to grade, I have to click each one of your answer keys, highlight each question you missed, save it, put in a comment, click something, return it. You guys get the idea. It is a very tedious process to grade in this social distancing environment. I don't just have a stack of papers that I can quickly run through and look at and see how you did in grade. So I am slow this year on grading. I apologize, but I do appreciate your patience. Anyways, ratio tables, that's what we were talking about. So this assignment is on ratio tables. It's our fourth topic this year. I just want to remind you, this is what we've gone over: factors and multiples, ratios, rates and unit rates, and now we're looking at ratio tables. So we're going to learn 3 new terms today. First one is ratio table. Second one is equivalent ratios. And the third is scaling. That's a ratio table. And what you might notice is it's called a ratio table because the columns are filled with pairs of numbers that have the same ratio. And what you might notice is this is all a 1-to-3 ratio. For every 1 can of soda, it's going up by 1. The cans of juice go up by 3. So it's a 1-to-3 ratio. And that is a ratio table. It's just a way to display ratios. Equivalent ratios express the same relationship between quantities. Said another way, no matter how you look at this, there is 3 juices for every 1 soda. So 1 soda, 1-to-3 ratio here is the same, is an equivalent ratio as the 3-to-9 ratio here. So what you're looking at is equivalent ratios on a ratio table. What you're solving today is missing numbers from a ratio table. So if somebody asks you, or the book asks you, there are 6 drops of yellow for every 1 cup of icing. If there are 5 cups of icing, then how many drops of yellow? Sounds really confusing, but what you'll see is this 30 won't be here. And you'll see a 6 and a 1, 6 drops of yellow for 1 cup of icing. And you'll see in the chart 5 cups of icing. So all they're saying is this was times by 5. The 1 times 5 is 5. So to keep it an equivalent ratio, you times the 6 by 5. So really another way to look at this is, here's a chart. It's a ratio table. You can just visually look at it, and it says number of pies is a 1-to-6 ratio. And what this chart's saying is, what if you had 4 pies? So 1 pie, 6 cups of sliced apples. 4 pies, how many cups of sliced apples? And you might be able to just realize that, what do you need to times by 1 to get 4? Well, 4. You times it by 4. And to keep the ratio equivalent, whatever you do to the pies, you got to do the apples. So you take that 6 and times it by 4. Your answer is 24. If you have 1 pie and 6 cups of apples, well then in 4 pies you're going to have 24 cups of apples. Let's look at another one. This one's going the opposite way. Sometimes you're going to want to add, sometimes you're going to want to subtract, multiply, or divide. On all the problems today, it's multiplying or dividing. So I look at this, and I'm going the other way. What this says is, I have 10 baseball card packs. I don't know how many dollars that was. But I know that 40 packs of cards cost me $64. So in this case, I just need to get this 40 to turn into a 10. So what do I do to 40 to turn it into a 10? Yeah, I divide it by 4. And to keep the ratio equivalent, I have to take that 64 and divide by 4. And that's going to give me 16. And what that would say then is 10 packs of cards, $16. So that's not too bad. Where the assignments get a little tougher, and the good news is, I'll tell you this at the end, you only have 5 questions to do today. It's a short assignment today because I want to mostly practice with you guys. And we're going to work on these for the next couple days. So scaling. Multiplying or dividing 2 related quantities by the same number is called scaling. Sometimes you need to scale back and then scale forward to find an equivalent ratio. What they're saying is sometimes you got to do 2 steps. So I'm going to look at a really easy example that you could actually do in 1 step, and then we'll look at a harder one. Joey Chestnut, it's a real person, won a hot dog eating contest by eating nearly 66 hot dogs in 12 minutes. If he ate at a constant rate, how many hot dogs did he eat every 2 minutes? Well, what the book was trying to show you on this example is they did this in 2 steps. They're trying to get this 12 down to 2, and they're trying to get this 66 down to whatever the missing number would be. So in this case, they divided both the hot dogs and the time by 2, gave them 33 over 6, and then they divided that by 3. They found common factors, and the answer is 11 hot dogs in 2 minutes. Now, you might have just been able to do that by dividing by 6 in the first place, but let's show you another one. Cans of corn are on sale at 10 for $4. Find the cost of 15 cans. Again, you got to multiply or divide. Well, I can't make 10 into 15 in 1 step, but I got to get that 10 into a 15, and you can do it in 2 steps. So you can divide the 10 by 2. That's going to give you 5. Then you take that 5 and you times it by 3 to get 15. It's the same thing on the bottom of the ratio table. 4 divided by 2 is 2, and 2 times 3 is 6. The answer is, oh, a little fast. The answer is 6. Let's try one more. I got to get 25 into 105. So yeah, I divided the 25 by 5. That gave me 5. And then I times it by 21. And that gave me 105. And I was able to do that with the height as well. Those 2 steps, I took 10 divided by 5. That gave me 2. And 2 times 21 gave me 42. All right, I fully anticipate some of you guys are going to struggle, especially with the 2-step ones. So we're only doing 5 problems today. I want you to feel like you have plenty of time to just get into ratio tables and equivalent ratios. At the meet today, we'll practice a few together, and then we're going to work on these again tomorrow. We're going to spend a couple days on these. Your assignment is a worksheet. It looks like this. Again, it's only 5 questions. And your answer key to page 11 has been returned to you and can be corrected if you got under 70%. So since you only have 5 questions today on your assignment, what I would highly recommend you do is I would highly recommend you go back, look at my comments on your answer key, see if you did under 70% and correct the ones you missed. You'll also notice that now that you made it to the end of the video, a couple of your questions on the skills worksheet were covered in this video. All right, guys, have a great rest of your day, and thanks for watching.